You probably never think much about your knees, unless they give you trouble. Your knee joints are subject to a lot of wear and tear throughout your life, from the day you learn to stand up straight, to getting up out of bed this morning, to coming here to listen to this talk. We rely heavily on their function. Therefore, it's not surprising that knee replacement surgery is one of the most common orthopedic surgeries today. We are Real Time Biosensing, a Galway based medical device company presenting our concept today, PolyOrtho technology. Our journey began with Rosie Bartel, a knee surgery patient who contracted an MRSA surgical site infection that led to the amputation of her leg. She is a wife, mother, grandmother, educator, and now an MRSA survivor. You probably know someone just like Rosie. We were inspired by Rosie's story to develop a technology that would ensure this never happens again, so that Rosie's story would not be in vain. Meet Dr. Mark Smith, Rosie Bartel's surgical consultant. Dr. Smith has been performing knee replacement surgeries for the last 20 years and is very concerned about the patients who must undergo resurgeries and amputations under his watch. He has directed his surgical team to take many precautionary measures over the years, but has not yet been able to eliminate the cases of post-surgical site infection in the hospital. We worked closely with Dr. Smith to understand the root cause analysis in order to develop our needs-based technology.
Let us look at the doctor's perspective on Rosie's infection progress. She had a successful knee surgery on her left leg 6 weeks prior to the right leg operation. 10 days after the right leg operation, an infection was identified once the stitches were removed. Within 24 hours, she was diagnosed with MRSA and had to undergo a resurgery. 2 years and 3 surgeries later, still the infection was spreading uncontrollably through the bone and leaving the doctors with no choice but an amputation. A key problem: lack of monitoring of the discharged patients. In case of Rosie, she developed an infection between stage 2 and 3. Patients like Rosie can acquire an infection up to a period of 180 days post surgery, making it very difficult to pinpoint when an infection is contracted by the patient. There is a significant gap in patient monitoring, resulting in deleterious outcomes. As a result, patients like Rosie will continue to endure life-changing negative outcomes. There are many possible factors which can affect the probability of catching an infection. Some of these are manifested during the pre-operative stage, some during the operation, and others in post-operative stages. Strict measures and techniques are adopted to prevent an SSI. However, these measures have been inadequate in controlling a combination of such factors. It is difficult to anticipate the journey of a unique individual once they leave the hospital, which is a major hurdle for healthcare professionals. There is a significant gap of upstream and downstream information between discharged orthopedic surgery patients and their primary care providers relating to acquired post-surgical site infections, thereby impeding the timely diagnosis and treatment of infection, leading to increased risk of deleterious patient outcomes. Our problem statement: a way to enable a timely diagnosis of post-surgical site infection in discharged orthopedic surgery patients.
A two-dimensional approach to data-driven decision-making. We want to bridge the gap between monitoring and treatment through IoT-enabled interventions and bring together upstream and downstream factors through collection and analysis of data. PolyOrtho has four parts. The orthopedic implant is embedded with multiple MEMS biosensors and an RFID receiver. These make up Part B and Part C. The data is finally accessed through a mobile app, which is Part D. Looking at PolyOrtho in more detail. Part B is a MEMS biosensor. These are very small devices which are capable of sensing biological cues. They are made up of bioreceptors which react with the environment and produce signals, and transducers which convert these signals into electrical impulses. PolyOrtho uses a range of bioreceptors for different physiological cues. For example, for MRSA, we use ultra-sensitive photonic biosensor based on a bimodal waveguide interferometer. Similarly, We use many contemporary bioreceptors for other physiological cues, such as heart rate and temperature. Part C is an RFID transmission system. The biosensors will send data to a wearable RFID receiver device carried on person by the patient. Part D. Data is then uploaded online and can be accessed by the doctors and the patients through a mobile application. Doctors can monitor live data, analytics, and visualizations from the mobile application. The patient, on the other hand, has administrative rights to the data based on the latest GDPR guidelines. They will have complete control on access and sharing of data. Additionally, the patient can access doctors' recommendations and emergency services through the app. To summarize our solution, it is a rainbow of embedded biosensors which detect multiple physiological cues. This data is transmitted to an RFID receiver in a wearable device. The data is then uploaded online to a server and can be accessed through a mobile application.
Marketing mix for PolyOrtho. Our target market is hospitals, clinics, and orthopedic surgeons. Studies show surgical site infections on average can increase hospital costs by up to $2 million. The value of our innovation lies in the fact that it reduces the need for readmission, resurgery, and financial burden, thereby significantly reducing costs. In this space, we have identified a niche market with no direct competitors in this area yet. The market size is considerable in the USA with more than 816,000 orthopedic surgeries per month. Market opportunity. Now let's look at the market size and opportunity of our innovation. Investors are keenly aware of the sensor's role as a critical component of connected devices under the Internet of Things umbrella. Innovative sensor developers drew 80% or $3.4 billion of the $4.3 billion in funding for sensor modules over the past decade. The market size expectation in 2020 for devices, connectivity and IT services for IoT is around $1.7 trillion. And since 2006, 45 sensor developers were acquired for $1.5 billion. Investment. The market is highly profitable as average selling prices of sensors in 2015 was $0.40, while that of MEMS-based sensors in 2020 is $0.45. Thus, the cost of sensors have reduced over the last few years, considerably reducing the barriers to entry in this domain. Tertiary technologies related to data storage, cloud, and mobile applications are already very cheap thanks to giants like Google and AWS.
We have mapped out a realistic company growth strategy, aiming for a 510(k) pre-market approval for a Class 3 medical device by 2026. We are seeking investment from both public and private sources to bring us through the clinical stages of development phase 1, 2, and 3. This is a unique investment opportunity for a breakthrough technology with the potential to change the scope of healthcare as we know it. Our diverse team of experts, with their unique and varied skill set, have enabled the development of this investment opportunity. Our team is committed to driving this product through the commercialization pathway in order to reach the clinic as soon as possible. Our team is looking to expand and acquire specific expertise in USA healthcare adoption and supply chain. At the beginning of this talk, we spoke about our inspiration for the company, Miss Rosie Bartel, and the unfortunate circumstances of her surgery, along with so many others. We kept surgeons like Dr. Mark Smith at the heart of our technology, enabling them to do what they do best, treating their patients with continuous care and monitoring. We have a great opportunity to change lives, and with your help and investment, we can connect and transform orthopedic surgery as we know it.